What's going on, guys? It's your brother O.T.G. The O.T.G's for Overtime Grind. Hardly seen, but I'm always around. Today we are inside of Ableton Live. I'm going to show you a couple tips. One, we're going to take a drum loop and we're going to draw some envelopes on it and take out some of the hi-hats. Then I'm going to slice that into a MIDI track and stack it with my own drums. We're going to take a simple sample and we're going to double it up at a simple loop. We're going to double it up, add a filter, focus on the bass, and then add a sample on top of that so you guys can see how to, utilize the old filter trick, and then utilize the filter trick to make another beat. Once I do that, I'm going to double out the sample. I'm going to double it out in the clip mode. And what I'm going to do is make two sections. After that, I'm going to chop a sample up. I'm going to find a loop in a sample. We're going to loop it up. And then we're going to make drums based around it. Then we'll speed up the sample and we'll just be done with that. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. Make sure you check out the masterclasses. I'm going to start adding a lot more videos. My channel is demonetized, and that's okay because I can teach you guys a lot more utilizing samples and things of that nature, so I'm okay with that. But it really depends on your support, so make sure you like, share, make sure you comment. If you say something stupid, I'm just going to get rid of you. This is how we work over here. I'm going to show you my workflow method. I don't care about somebody else's workflow method. If you already feel like you know how to do it, then this isn't the place for you. This is my workflow method. This is a method that I've used for years. You can follow me at 365 O.T.G and you can see who I am and what I do. This is what I do. So I'm not here to be a YouTube producer. I'm not here to be liked by the producer community. I sit here in my studio every day and work on the hardware or software, and it's my professional job. So with that, I want to show some tactics and some tools. These are very basic. We're not here to teach you how to make amazing beats. You make amazing beats on your own. I'm here to show you how to technically get better and understand how to use your programs and how to use your hardware. So if you like what I give, you can always donate at O.T.G. And the least you can do is go check out the $5 masterclasses. And these sounds that I'm using right here, everything but the sample, I'm doing this inside of the program. All of these samples, these loops, they're available on the Gumroad. That'll be down in the description. All right, so I may not talk a lot. I may just come in and tap in. I got a lot going on, but I definitely wanted to show you guys these tips. All right. So right here, I'm going to double it up. I just duplicate it. And so what I'm going to do now is go over and to my audio effects, and I'm going to drop on, go to EQ and filters. I'm going to drop an auto filter on. I don't want a preset, so I'm going to grab an auto filter. I'm going to mute the other one, drop it, drag it, and then I'm going to move my filter down to the lows, and then we have the bass line. I'm going to add a limiter to my meter just because I want to limit the sound. I'm not going to mess with the gain or the release. I'm just going to add a limiter just to stop having my red meter. And my final sound is playing through the limiter. So when I want to mix, or if I want to mix, I could come through and mix that later, and I have a real representation of what I'm going to hear. Now what I'm going to do is go into my electric piano sounds. Like I said, the electric piano, the loops, and all of that stuff you can find on the Gumroad. I'll put a link down in the description. I'm just going to grab a random sound that feels like it fits over that bass line, and then I'm going to drop it in. And I'm going to show you if I drop it in, it's going to make an audio channel. It's only going to play one time. If I make a sampler and then drop it into the sampler, then I have the ability to trigger MIDI and make it keep playing. So here I'm going to drag the sampler in. You know, I'm going to erase all this other stuff. We're going to do some house cleaning. All right, we're going to go back, grab our sample, and drop it right in the sampler. And then I'll make an empty clip, and I'll trigger it right at C3 because that's the bass note. And then I'll duplicate the clip from inside the clip options. Alright, so now that we have this on here, you know, there's a lot of reasons why you'll do this. This will give you the ability to play the piano note at higher octaves, lower octaves, and still have it in key. Well, not in key, but have it play time stretched, or it just gives you the ability, not time stretched, it gives you the ability to play it like a sample across the keys. That's probably the best way to explain that. I utilize this method a lot. You know, when you drag and drop straight into Ableton, you get a one-shot feature if it's already set as a loop in the preferences of the sample. So when you see that little black mark, if you look where my samples are, you see there's a mark where there's no check mark, and then you have the check mark. When you drag your sample in, that check mark means that Ableton makes a file for it, and it does all of the information for the sample. It stores all the information so you can warp it. It automatically warps by beats. It automatically warps by beats. You would have to go in and change the warp method by sample or Complex Pro, and you'll get a better stretch. But before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this, and this is how you can take a very simple drum loop and turn it into something unique. So I'm going to copy all of these. I'm going to bring them down because I want to have the original sample play on one channel, and then on one track on clip level 1, and then on clip level 2 like I have now. I want to be able to alternate just like I'm doing now. So what I'm going to do next is go in, and you can see my drum loop down below. What I'm going to do is right click on the drum loop and slice it to MIDI. When I slice it to MIDI, what Ableton is going to do is just load up a random drum kit. I'll go through, fix some of that stuff in the drum kit, and then I'll add my own drum sounds. All right, let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to hit stop. We're going to right click over it. We're going to go down to slice drums to new MIDI track. It's going to do its best to try to figure out what the kick, the snare, and the hi-hat is. So now if we mute these for a second, go ahead and turn these drums on. We're going to stack these up because I may want to use my loop as a background loop. You can hear how this goes, and you can see what notes are playing. If I go double click the clip, I can go see what I have going on. But first what I want to do is change some of those drum sounds. So I'm going to go to my drum, right above my drum rack, and hit my drum hits. And I have all of the drum sounds in Ableton in one-shot mode. So let's go and get that done. Now, if I want to turn up the sound, you can see right there, we have a volume button right there, a volume knob. So right here on the bottom, we can change our volume controls. We can change our transport. What I want to do is get a better kick that I feel like fits. And then what I'm going to do is turn the volume up at the root, and that will give us a better kick sound. Also, once I get that turned up, what I'll have to do is check the clip, because inside of the clip there's probably some velocity messaging, and I could just turn up the velocity. But first I want to get my sounds together. I'll also show you how to add effects directly to a sound inside of utilizing the drum rack, and you can go in and put, say, a reverb directly on the clap. We'll do that shortly. But what I could do now, see, if I double click, you can see the lighter notes let you know that the velocity is quieter. Right now, I don't have everything selected, but if I hit that fold button, I could fold it and just see the drums that we have playing. Right now, it's not important to do, but I'll utilize that feature. You'll see it in future videos, or you'll see it probably in this video. So now I'm also going to remove the hi-hats off of the kick and the snare in some places, because again, I'm thinking about stacking this with the drum loop. Because what this does is give me an alternative. Now I have three parts. I have the original drum loop with this drum and the sample, the loop. I have the part 2, which we're working on now, which has a filtered part of the sample giving us a bass line and an alternative one-shot Rhodes on there. Now I could have part 3, where I drop off the main drums and it goes straight to our other drums with the clap. Okay, so now I want to add a reverb to the clap. I'm going to grab that, I'm going to drag it. If you notice that little line, if I put it after the drum rack, it affects our whole drum rack. If I put it before the drum rack, inside of that little line, if you notice, you could go back and see. Now I have my effect on my sound. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to put an auto pan on the hi-hats. See where I dragged it? Right after the hi-hat audio. Now if I turn that up, or just turn it up crazy so it phases back and forth, now we have an auto pan on that. So utilizing these tips right here should help you guys take something super simple and start to get familiar with creating with super simple stuff, and then you can make it complex. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. That's how you keep this channel afloat. If you utilize the comments, the more you guys comment, the more people see the videos, and the more people actually see it. If you like it, the more people who are interested in Ableton Live, they will see the videos. If you dislike it, more people will see the videos. So, if you want to just be a hater, the best way to be a hater and not support at all, just come here, get some information, steal it, and then go utilize it and get better at your program, but not ever show any appreciation is to do nothing. So make sure you do something, and that definitely helps out, especially because I'm not a guy sitting here faking and giving you worthless tips, so that way you don't get any better, because I'm monetized by YouTube and I need you to watch my YouTube channel so I could get paid, so you see ads. I believe not being monetized, at first I thought it was going to be terrible, but it's not. You know what I mean? It's not a bad thing. I make money selling my music and courses and teaching music and 101s and producing, composing. I get royalties for music that I've wrote and royalties for music on TV. It's a process that you build up over time, and over time you start just receiving money from multiple places. So a lot of you guys are just starting in your journey, and you look at YouTube as the #1 way to get paid. No, it's going to take a while to get your YouTube running. So you definitely need a strategy, and a strategy will help you with how you produce as well. If you have some idea and direction when you start, everything will get easier. So what I'm going to do now is group all of these tracks together, just because I want to keep this, but I want to work on another beat, and I want to go ahead and work on another sample, but I don't want to lose my work, and I don't want to open a new project yet. So what I'm going to do is group all of these, and then I'm going to drag my new sample in and put it in a space where stuff isn't playing. I'm going to label it properly at the top. We'll name this beat 1, and then we're going to drop our loop in and do some work from there. When I drop this sample in, what you're going to see is I've already loaded it before, so it's going to load pretty quickly, and it's going to load warped. It's got that little black box next to it. It's a check mark. So when I drag it and drop it, it's already going to have warp information saved. You can see the BPM down there. You can see different stuff. I'm going to listen to it one time, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag it in so you guys can see again. What I'm going to do now that I have it in here is find a part that I like, and then I'm going to utilize the numbers on the top, so you can see where it says 1, 2, 3, 4. Look right above my mouse. I'm going to choose 4 bars. I'm just going to select a 4-bar place, and I'm going to utilize those 4 bars to start working my loop. What I'm going to do after I get that set is I'm going to go in and get my warp markers. See, I'm counting it out. We don't want 5 bars, we want 4. 2, 3, 4. All right, so we're going to go from 3 to 7. We're going to make sure we got our end marker down there. And what we're going to do is change our warp to Complex Pro. And sometimes I like having my loop a little bit off. So you see, the cool thing about Ableton is you have the ability to still loop in time even if stuff is off. So right now I'm going to go in. See, I still have a bar from 6/4 to 7 that's there. This is a little trick I like to use. But what I'm going to do is go in and create my warp markers, and kind of put certain things on beat. So that way, as I am creating, see, I put a work marker at the end to hold it in place. Every time I drag to the left, I don't want to pull new beat in, see, so I want it to stretch. Now, I'm going to take the major transients and move them to the nearest even bar. So that's 5, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 4, or the nearest bar on time, let's say it that way. If the transient isn't good, you can right click and delete it. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then from there, I may not use this whole sample, but I'm going to get at least 4 bars lined out, so then I can alternate between the two and find something that I like. Alright, now I have that all lined out. I'm going to go through, get that together, and then next I'm going to drop an empty drum rack in, and we can go and start to build our beat. You're going to hear that it's off a little bit, but we'll still be able to do it. Remember, part of the tricks and the tactics that I like to use when I'm utilizing Ableton is to, one of the keys of making things that kind of are off beat is you still have to decide what you want to have on beat. So I like my drums to be quantized, so I'm going to put my drums, I have it folded, so I have just one sound in there, so it comes folded. We're going to put our clap on. Now I could go get a basic kick, I'll put that on. I may mess with the sample a little bit, I'm not sure, but realize and notice that having stuff off a little bit, especially you guys know me from seeing me use a lot of hardware, but in reality, everything I do on hardware, I record it into Ableton. Notice the words that I say, I record it in. I don't just bounce it in, I record it in. So with that, we have everything set, and now we're going to just lay this out real quickly so that way we have something done. Now that we have our drums laid out, we could go back to our sample. We could take our loop, move it down to 2 bars, and we can maneuver it around, and we can highlight the part that we want and utilize that as our beat if we want to. Then we could double our loop again, put a filter on it, and now we can create the same effect with the filter that we did a little bit earlier. So see, now we have 2 bars, I move it to 5. Notice that the 6, 4 to 7 just still plays properly. That's why I didn't worry about it earlier. And now we have a unique sample or a unique loop. We can go over now and change the pitch it up, and we have a different pitch, and it's all in time. So hopefully you utilize some of these tips. These tips will definitely help you with your production. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. Make sure you check out the Ableton Masterclass. It's only $5. Make sure you go and check out the sounds. You can utilize all of the sounds, other sounds that I use directly inside of Ableton Live. If you have Ableton Live Suite, it comes with all of these sounds and all of these plugins. And hopefully you guys get better with your production. You found some value. Thank you for watching this video so far. Thank you for supporting my channel. Make sure you follow me at 365 O.T.G on all social media. I use Twitter the most. I don't really do Instagram. It's a waste of time. I like being places where I can generate income from being myself. So I'm mostly on Twitter, but 365 O.T.G, you can find me everywhere. Once again, this is another tutorial in Ableton Live, and it's your brother. See, we're going to duplicate this out. We could go, I'm going to go ahead and add in a hi-hat before I go. Let's throw some kick variations and clap variations. You'll see me utilize that faux button. That way, once I add in the hi-hat, you can kind of see how the faux button works, and it'll show any sounds that you've added. Alright, have a great day, enjoy, and make sure you make some music today. I think that's about it. It's your brother O.T.G.